Hey folks, check my microphone there. Oh, it's just Jack. Hey Jack, how's it going? So, operating instructions, Acela train 2151 is running a little late, so begin loading your passengers now, and then await instructions from the conductor. It's recommended you activate the ATC alerter for this scenario. So, this scenario is another one of Gary Dolezal's, Elphaba's workshop. Just going to get started today, warm up with a nice scenario, and then I'm going to finish that scenario we started yesterday and see if we can't get that working and publish to workshop. So in this scenario we're starting from New Haven, we're in Acela, and we're heading to Penn Station. Conductor, Acela 2151 to engineer, passengers aboard and doors are cleared. Highball for our scheduled stop at Stamford. Before we get that signal, we're stuck on a 15 limit because that's how the signalling system initialises in cab. Hey there, Jan. And we're clear now to 30. Clear now to 45, and I get the 50 in a minute, as long as we keep those flashing greens coming our way. Something not quite working with that keyboard control, I'll get that reported. Right, so we actually have a reduced signal aspect now, so we're in a 45. Just need to keep an eye out. Now the key thing with the New York New Haven route, of course, is that a lot of the signals are in a sort of a poor area to demonstrate it, but a lot of the signals don't actually exist in a visible form. They're actually only electronic, and everything's done in cab. So we've just gone back up to a clear aspect, so we're now back up to line speed of 50. Put my lights on really. Wow, bandwidth is tanking there. So we had a brief spurt there of poor connectivity, apologies. So in a moment we should get cleared up to 70. For this route you really do need to keep an eye on the in-cab signalling system down here. It's actually one of the most important things you can keep an eye on. Oh, we're cleared to 70, let's go. I'm very puzzled about that. There should actually have been a bug on the speedometer, a little red triangle. which would have then told us what the cruise control was set to, but for some reason it wasn't showing up. Hopefully it's just me doing something wrong. So next station is, well, next stop is Woodmont, a waypoint via Woodmont, which is in 4¾ miles. I think our next actual stop is Stamford. Set for line speed at the moment. Hey there, EC Mel and Josh. Good to see you on the channel this evening. Nice bit of freight in the other direction. Little local, so a little local. Hey there, HD Gaming, good to see you log in there. Day's been really good actually, thank you. Made some good progress on a number of fronts. How about yourself? Hey, Jamie and Muffin Man, good to see you again. Hey Gary, didn't see you log in there. You snuck in. This is one of your scenarios. This is the one of the latest ones you uploaded actually, and currently #1 in the recent on workshop from what I recall. I thought it was about time to do some American. We've been doing lots of British lately, and I don't like to have too much of one thing. It's good to spread things around a bit. One thing we really lack a lot is German content, but if I'm brutally honest, it's because I'm no good at it. So that'll be entertaining stuff for later. So we will be correcting that. But in the meantime, I thought it was time for a trip to Stacey, since this is one of my favourite routes. Hey Alex, since this is one of my favourite routes, I thought, what better route to go on if I want to go to America? Going via Woodmont West Main 1 in just a bit over 1.3 miles. Afternoon, Dobbin. I haven't had any clearance yet to show beta gameplay, so you will get Miami gameplay probably when it's released, but that's fine. That'll be good. We'll enjoy that. That'll be a nice change. I'm looking forward to being able to show that off. We haven't announced what's happening after TS15 yet, Till Films, but I guess we'll be announcing pretty soon what happens, when, where, how, why, and who. So stay tuned. Will we get some flights in? We'll get some flights in probably when it's released, because again, I haven't got the clearance to show beta content. It's alright, we've got plenty to look at without having to go into beta content. Tons of scenarios to run, loads of routes to enjoy, and breaks to apply. Yep, we're just coming into a 60. That's nice. And we're not getting complained at by the signalling system, which is good. Excellent. Round the corner, and then we'll get back up to 70 by the looks of it. No, I don't think so, Alex. So, sorry, I was just making some notes so that I can get some feedback passed to the content guys. What train am I in? This is an Acela Express. We're currently on the New York to New Haven line. That's a lovely M8 running in the other direction, one of the Metro North trains. I will just get outside so you can see what this train is. There you go, the Acela Express. And I've even got the headlights on for that. It's almost like I'm learning what to do here. But I do need to put some brakes on now, otherwise I'm going to have everyone laughing at me for speeding again. Right, so coming up on Derby Main 1, which is our next waypoint in 3/4 of a mile. Hey there, Union Pacific. Didn't read what that was, but thank you for the follow. It was much appreciated. Union Pacific EMDSD 78. No, it made sense. My brain was reading the word ice in the middle, and that was confusing me. So we're going through. So you have to put the brake in suppression and then press the off button. That's better. And you have to be down underneath 45 before you can press the button. And it doesn't help the fact that I can't press the Q key. So head up. So I'm going to get the Q key not working reported to our content team and find out if we can get a fix in for that, because that's really annoying. Coming into a 40 as we go over this bridge. Derby Main 1 West is our next waypoint. Hey Alex, other Alex, both Alexes. No idea how I'm going to read my handwriting after I finish the scenario. It's going to be a struggle. So this track speed's gone up to 60, but our signal speed limit is still only at 45, so we do need to keep an eye on that. If we exceed 45, then the speed, the cab signalling system will kick in. There we go, we've gone back to clear, so now we can go up to 60. Hey there, United Terry, biggest of big men, and Dean, welcome back. Yes, this is the first route of the first scenario so far tonight. The plan tonight is we're going to run this scenario, which is one of Gary Dolezal's or Elphaba workshop scenarios based on New York New Haven, running on the Acela from New Haven. And then after that, we're going to finish off the scenario that we started creating yesterday. Just a little bit of nipping and tucking needed just to tidy it up, and I also want to make sure that I show you how to upload it to Workshop as well, just to round it off. And then we'll pick a third scenario to do. And I've got a backlog of requests, but by all means, forward over your next request so that I can keep the backlog up to date. Alex, you are not professional advisors. I would not get away with that again. Nice try though, son. Yeah, we need some daylight big boy madness going on, don't we? It sounds really far less appropriate than it actually is. Right, let me... so, we want the big boy. Once I figure out why I've got the wrong one coming up. So I will test that one before the next show, and hopefully we'll do that tomorrow. Drimmix, you don't get the American signalling systems. Right, tell me, well, there are many American signalling systems. Which specifically are you having problems with? And I will do my best, and if I can't help you, if Jan is here, he can probably help you, because he knows them far better than I do. Fire away, tell me what your problems are. Coming into a 60 limit, which then drops to a 45. I'm half suspecting we're going to see a signal reduction down here as well. Bridgeport is the next waypoint, 1 3/4 miles. So I noted the 60 and then forgot to slow down for it. Bizarre. Okay, so this signalling system is the one that's used by the Metro North and on this section of the line in general. It's a derivation of the Pennsylvania Railroad system, which uses the cab signalling system. So the key thing is to ignore the visual signals, because you don't need them. They're basically, all they can do is tell you to do what it says in the cab, which is what flashing green means. Or they can say stop, which is what the 2 red lights mean. There's a couple of other instances, but they don't come up because they're essentially much more specific things that just don't happen in the game. So when they're getting a single flashing green, or any other time really, what happens is that over here you've got this cab signalling display. And the cab signalling display is telling you what the signal would be. So this is here actually replicates the Pennsylvania signals that you would have seen on other routes. So if you look on the old Northeast Corridor line, or if you continue this journey into Penn Station, you'll basically see signals actually that look like these 2 displays. These 2 down here tell you what the speed limits are. So, okay, what happens? So I'm driving along, and I've got green and nothing, and it says 45, which means my speed limit at the moment is 45 miles per hour, and that is a track-based speed limit, not anything else. So that's just literally what the speed limit of this track is. Coming through Bridgeport, and I need to slow down to 30. Okay, so as you're driving along, so you get you go past a something which changes your aspect. Now, let's just say it just happens. There's actually specific set times that it happens, but let's not get too complicated. And when you cross over into this other zone, you'll get a different signal from the signalling system, and this might change. And what will happen there is that this again replicates what's going on with the signalling system. So if there were a real signal, this is what you would see there. So let's say, for example, we were now in a So this is a clear. So if we were in a limited, which is the next one down, then what would happen is signal speed would come up at 45, and then if 45 miles per hour is less than the track speed, then this red light would light up to say that's the one I should follow. Right. Now, second thing that happens is if this has gone down in aspect, so if this has gone from clear to limited, limited to medium, medium to restricting, then the alarm will go off. What you now need to do is to put the brakes into suppression, and you need to cut your throttle, and then you can press the this button here to acknowledge the alarm. If you have any of those things wrong, well, then pressing the button will not do anything, and it will keep going, and eventually what will happen shortly afterwards is it will put it into a full service brake application for you, which you can then come out of just by doing what you were supposed to do in the first place. I mean, that really is the essence of the braking system. Really, it's about just simply following what this cab signal indication says to do, whichever is the lowest of these speeds. So now we're up to 70 limit, so we can speed up. And if you get any alarms, put it in suppression, cut the throttle, and press the acknowledge button. And then as soon as you're below the speed that you're supposed to be at, release the brakes. If you release the brakes before you're under the speed limit, then the alarm will go off again. So hopefully that kind of explains roughly how the signalling system works. UK signalling system, yeah, it's easy. It does also have many of its own foibles and tricks, though, to keep you interested. When we're going to fix passengers walking on the tracks, it's on the list to be looked at. I know that it's been looked at several times, and the unfortunate problem is that it can't be reliably reproduced, which makes it extremely difficult to try and fix it. But it is on the list to be looked at. German signals, yeah, German signals. I think we've had enough said about German signals. They are very difficult. Now throw some PZB in just to make it even more difficult. So, yes, signalling, it's great fun. It's what keeps the whole network safe. So it's worth learning. But some systems are different than others. And to be honest, that's one of the reasons I like this route, is because it's different. It's a different way of driving the train. There's a different things that I have to concentrate on when I'm driving. And there's no peering into the distance, for example, for signals, because they just pop up. So one question you might have is, so when this changes, how long have you got to actually be down at that speed? Well, you need to be there as fast as you can. So that's why the alarm comes on within a few seconds of you being over speed. It's not going to put emergency brakes on. It won't stop the train unless you don't abide by the instruction. Hey Ricky, good to see you again on the channel. So does that help? If so, can you explain it back to me, please? "70 miles an hour seems really pedestrian in Acela." London to Manchester. Well, certainly no plans for it at the moment. So yeah, I've no idea is the short answer to that question. There's no plans for it right now, and it sounds interesting though. I do like Manchester. We've covered it 2 or 3 times now, I think. Can I do a tutorial on how to build a route from scratch? That is definitely on my list to do. So I'm going to do 2 or 3 more scenario tutorials. I want to finish off the last one, do a freight scenario. I want to do a scenario that's got scripting and cameras and HTML pop-ups and audio and video and all that magical stuff. And once we've done that, then I'll start looking at route tutorials, so slightly more involved. Because I'm trying to get a bit of coaching myself, if I'm being brutally honest. Because while I sort of understand a way of doing things, I have no idea if the way I do it when I'm building routes is the right way or even a good way. So I'm going to get our route building team to just give me a little bit of coaching, and then I'll be okay. Now, what I'm not going to do is teach the art side of it. I'll show you how to place an object. I am not the person to teach you where to place that object. My routes look weird, but I can teach you all the processes and the tech. So how to lay track, how to lay signals. That'll be a particularly interesting tutorial because the signaling system is diverse and complex. I can teach you track and signals, and just all the processes and things that you need to get right, getting the markers right, and making sure that the route will actually function like a railway, and then making it look like a railway. That's your job. Ricky, yes, there's always lots and lots going on in the pipeline. We plan DLC many months ahead, so there's lots to look forward to. But I can't talk about any of it, so sad that. Never mind. Cruising along at 70, going via South Norwalk, track 1 in 8 miles. I just realised, looking at the backlog, running this scenario knocks another one off the backlog. We've got the Class 143 Riviera on the backlog and South London Network, plus the big boy that was mentioned today. What else can I play? What other scenarios can I play for you today? Well, at some point this week. Absolutely, Ricky, it's all top secret. Absolutely top secret. Bad things would happen if if any of this stuff gets out. Bad things. Yes, I'm really interested in seeing what happens over on the East Coast Main Line. I heard a rumour that they actually are considering putting Pendolinos over on the East Coast Main Line, so that'll be interesting. If they do, then I wonder if they'll push to get part of the ECMR up, raised to 140 mile an hour, so they can actually run those beasts at the speed they were intended to run at from day one. Why is it so secret? Well, there are a combination of reasons why it's secret. One of them is just because it's a commercial operation and we like to keep things close to our chest. That's fairly standard commercial practice. The other one is actually there is no point us announcing something basically until it's finished and ready to go, because there are so many things that can go wrong in the production of any piece of content that we would find ourselves announcing something and then never delivering on that. And that's really frustrating, both for you and for us. And that's one of the reasons we don't even announce release dates pretty much until the last minute, just because what we don't want to do is make a promise and then fail to keep that promise on when we release it. So I apologise if that's frustrating, but what we found is that people find it far more frustrating when they are told things and then we can't deliver to that. Just whether, because it's outside of our control in some cases. In some cases, content is just not ready for release, and we take the decision to hold it back. It's that simple. So I've got a 40 speed limit coming up in a minute, so I should get slowed down for that. The nice thing about a standard scenario is I can sort of relax and enjoy it, and I don't feel under any pressure to race the speed limits and try and drive hard and more accurate, and I can just take a leisurely run. Not very realistic, but it keeps me amused. I have to say I really like those M8s. I think they're rather nice. Really glad we chose to put them onto this line, because they're a little bit different to the usual kind of train, being sort of a mundane square box, but they're really nice. They add a different flavour of train, a different driving experience, and people seem to like them, so that's good. Really, I love going on the Pendolino. I've been on several of them, and yeah, I don't have any problem with them at all. Do you mean the E320 Valero D's, Driblinks? If so, yes, I've seen one. Saw it drive, or been pulled through Ebbsfleet International. Saw it getting pulled through in the middle of the night on its way to Temple Meads depot. Continuing on, doesn't seem to be any interruptions or others. Hey Prez, good to see you. Back up to 70 again, after that brief interlude at 40. We've got another one down at 45 coming. So we're driving New York to New Haven, except we're going New Haven to New York. We're driving in the Acela Express. This is a scenario you can download from Workshop, uploaded by Elphaba. If you just search for the latest scenarios, it's the top one on the list pretty much. There you go, Acela train 2151, scenario 219 from Gary. Oh, that makes a nice change. P32 ACDM going in the other direction. .45 limit coming up, and we're nearly at South Norwalk track 1. Hey there, train boy, no problem at all. You enjoy? What train routes would I like to see made? Well, a lot of them have been made, if I'm honest, but I'd like to see more of the southern network, particularly the east coast, way out of Brighton over to, and the Marsh link that takes it up to Ashford. I'd like to see the West Coast main line out of Euston. There's lots of routes I'd like to see, to be honest. It's all good. A Waterloo route, yeah, it'd be nice to see a route out of Waterloo as well. The London cities are always a good win. They're very popular. They're interesting. There's lots of traffic. There's also lots of variety of traffic, which is good. What's bad, of course, is that it generally slaughters any machine you try and run it on because of the complexity of the track work. And once you've got all that track work, if you then try and run lots of services on it, you need a supercomputer to actually be able to run it at any decent frame rate. Hey there, Gamesman63. Good to see you on the channel this evening. Almost into the 70 again. I work for DTG, so why don't I? Well, there's a little bit more to it than that, if I'm honest. A, I'm not a very good route creator. B, I don't have the time. And it's not really about what I want. It's about what we think our customers want and what we think we can make in the time allowed. There's a lot to it. There's a very involved process in choosing what DLC we make, and then trying to work out what goes with that, what goes with the routes and so forth. It's very involved. Fascinating process, actually. No, I think the one that United Terry is talking about is World of Subways 3, which is the Circle line, if memory serves. We have our destination at Stamford, track 3 and 6 miles. Oops, we're overspeeding, naughty boy. You get 3 miles before safety system trips in. 3 miles an hour, sorry. However, the safety system won't trip in if you're just on a track speed. It only trips in if you exceed the signal speed limit, which is one of the systems that they're changing. So that's called ATC. ATC is the automatic train control, which is what's currently on the Northeast Corridor. Some parts of the Northeast Corridor are rolling out a system called ACSES. No, I can't remember what it stands for. Speed Enforcement System is apparently is I think the M stands for. And what that then does is it takes into account temporary speed restrictions, the actual track line speeds, deceleration profiles, and all sorts of things, and will make sure that the drivers are fully adhering to every speed limit all along the way and driving safely, which ATC doesn't do. But that doesn't exist on a lot of systems yet. If you run the ACS 64, you'll find that it does actually have lamps on it for ACSES, because it is in the real one is actually kitted out for it. But this leg of the route doesn't actually have ACSES, so the loco doesn't have it in the game. See you later, train boy. What route will you be doing next? I have no. What route will I be driving next? I think I might do some South London network. We haven't done the South London network in ages. Hey there, Netris. What do I think of Armstrong Powerhouse? I think they produce some really good stuff. Oh, hang on. Conductor to engineer, Acela 2151. I've been informed we'll be crossing to platform track 3 for our stop at Stamford. Conductor out. So the interesting thing there is that means we're going to be crossing over, which means we're going to get signal reductions as we come into Stamford, and I'm going to get in all of a fluster and miss pressing the button because I can't press Q, which is where I want to press it. So yeah, Armstrong Powerhouse does some really good stuff. My son's got several pieces of his rolling stock and a couple of his sound packs. So we're 3.5, just a bit under 3.5 miles now from Stamford. Stamford is where this service will terminate. Yes, TVM 430 is the European standard, which is deployed on the high-speed 1 section, the London St Pancras to Ebbsfleet. It's also on the TGV in France as well. So yes, it's a good system. It's quite fun to drive, a bit like this. doing a minimal reduction at the moment to get us down to the 50. Although it looks like I'm going to need a bit more. And once we get to 50, there we go. And we're Stamford is now visible. We can see the what looks like the crossover here, which is where we're going to get moved over. So we can expect some fun along with the speed limit changes on the track. We can expect the signals to do some fun stuff for us as well. I believe that's correct, Drimbinks. Well, that's not bad. We've got an ETA at Stamford at 7:51, and our current ETA is 7:50 and 37. So we're going to, well, this way, I slowed down too much, so we're going to come in a bit late. But we're not doing too bad. So we've been slowed down to 30 now. This will be us crossing over. And pulling into the station. Must admit, I've not looked at how the TVM signalling is implemented in the game, but I don't see any reason why you can't put the. If you go and look at how it's been done on London to Faversham, I don't see why you couldn't put the same signals on your route. There we go, 7 seconds late, and we're into Stamford, which is the end of this scenario. No, Doug, the key binding for the alarm does not seem to want to work, so that's one of the things I've made a note of to raise with our live team. Remember that it's the little flags are the key part. Well done, you've reached Stamford in good time despite the poor weather conditions. 21:51 is due to depart Stamford at 7:52. Scenario complete. Another excellent scenario there from Gary at Elphaba's workshop. Right, let's switch it back to changing room. Shortcut for braking. It's the apostrophe key, but if you're running on the ACS 64, you can press Shift and the same key. So on my keyboard in the UK, it's an @ symbol. And then what that will do is it will immediately jump the brakes to the suppression setting, which makes driving considerably easier.